Welcome back to the channel, fam. Welcome back to the channel. This is Brian, the introverted marketer, and it ain't hard to tell. It's simple. Now listen, family. Double upload today. Tapping back in with AppSumo. Tools of the year going on strong. Today is Thursday, January 1st. Happy New Year. Now the deal is ending in about a day. And we're tapping in with Seelab. The too long didn't read. Create custom images for products and other brand assets. Fine tune, share, and collaborate on mood boards with your team in one workspace. They position themselves as an alternative to Adobe Photoshop, Canva, and is best for graphic designers, marketers, and marketing agencies. So get the right image with AI, train AI models in your style, make specific image edits, collaborate, and design together. Now I'm tapped in on tier one for testing purposes. So let's go ahead and look at the differences between each tier. So in tier one, you don't get any custom models. You get 3 projects, 10 collections, and 5 credits for video, and one-time use VO3 Fast with audio. And you don't get access to any pro models. In fact, you don't get any access to pro models unless you spend $300 and getting locked in a tier 3. From tier 2, you get a custom model, and up to tier 4, you get 5 custom models and you get unlimited collections in the most projects. So let's tap in with the deal terms and conditions. So all future rookie tiers 1 to 2 or premium tiers 3 to 4 plan updates. If the plan changes, they'll be mapped to new plan with all accompanying updates. No codes. Pick the one that works for you. And of course, the AppSumo, their rock solid 60-day money back guarantee. And it's only for new Seelab users who don't have existing accounts. So let's go ahead and see. They're averaging right now about a 4.7. This person is having an issue here with tier 4. So we're going to actually test out the tier 1. I know people, you know how I feel about these AppSumo reviews. People share their genuine thoughts and opinions, but I often like to show the tool and show what it can do from like tier 1, tier 2, and above. Because sometimes you don't need to get the highest tier. You need to get tools, in my opinion, that you're going to genuinely use in your business that's going to support whatever it is, the goal that you're trying to achieve. So with that being said, and I see now with AppSumo, you can upload videos on AppSumo, which is pretty awesome. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take us over to the home page. Well, this is me tapped in. So let's go to the homepage, their website. Seelab AI Photo Studio to create all your on-brand visuals. And here's how their website is looking. Not gonna lie, that's looking pretty fantastic there for that demo. But we're gonna see if the demo is just a demo or if it's gonna be able to deliver. This kind of looks like Flux. It's looking like Flux with these models. And they're showing some examples right here. And we're gonna test it all out. You can see how many users it has. The visuals do look very good, family. I'm not going to lie, based on these demonstrations. But what I do want to see is what they actually charge for the monthly. Oh, but they also have the option to start free. And you know, I do like when these companies offer a free trial. That way you don't have to purchase something like AppSumo. You can go ahead and try it out before you choose to invest in the product or service. So we do appreciate that. What I don't see here is I don't see pricing. I do see we can change languages from English to French. We can contact our vision. It doesn't show pricing. They do have terms and conditions. They show their socials. They don't have pricing. Okay, so it's in offers, which is odd. But as long as it's found. So this is a European company, so you can see the pricing here is all in euros. So you can see they have the monthly plan and the annual plan. And it says here for tiers 1 and 2, we are tapped into the future rookie plan, and whatever updates and things of that nature happens here in the rookie will be tapped into here if we're on tier 1 or 2. And if you're on 3 or above, you're tapped into the premium. And commercial use is allowed for both rookie and premium. But they do have the free tier, and you can see right here what you are allotted in the free tier, just intended for exploration and non-commercial use. And it just shows here some of the features that you get. And it specifically says that commercial use is allowed for rookie and also for premium. So with that being said, let's go ahead and tap in. You can see they got the little privacy policy pop up right there. We'll just go ahead and accept that. I don't mind cookies. And of course, they have their chat there. And it does show that people are online if you do need help. So that's always awesome to see. They do have some videos. Replace the background. You can replace elements. And of course, they do have the option to upscale. And you can see here, I picked this up today and the rookie license has been activated. You can go ahead and X that out. And here's my workspace. So we do have the option to train our AI at portraits and avatars and styles of photography, products and objects. I do want to see how we can test it out. They do have Nano Banana here. They do have Imagen 4 and Imagen 3. So I wonder if this is pro. It does say Nano Banana, but it doesn't say whether or not it's pro. So, but to train your AI, and perhaps it's on because of the plan I'm on, you do need to pay, because I don't have custom models, I believe, for the particular plan that I'm on. So no. So there's no custom models for me. So we'll just bypass that altogether for this test. So we'll just have to leave that out, unfortunately. So for premium and pro models, we do need to upgrade. So we can't use Nano Banana on tier 1. We can use Seelab Gen and Seelab Realism, but you do need to upgrade to use Imagen 4 and Nano Banana and Imagen 3. So that's curious. They do have collections here. Can we see some examples? So here's some examples they have here in their favorites in their collections. Okay, so different types of AI editing. You can replace the background, reframe, replace or add elements, clean or remove elements. So without being able to use Nano Banana, we want to actually test what it is that it can do. So I wonder if we can use some of these examples here. It seems like we do need to find something. We do need to find a product that we can upload. And I'll probably go on to Google and just find something that we can use, a product, for this demo video. But you can see here we have logo generators as an option for images. Those are featured. And if we go over to photography, it has different art styles that we can choose and illustrations that we can choose. And these is all using Seelab, so it's their own custom image generator. Digital art, arts and craft, and of course generalist. And that's Seelab Gen. But it did say that we have option to use Seelab Real, or we also have the option to use Flux. So Flux is also pretty good. But let's actually see what they can do. Because Flux is pretty good. So let's go back over to creations. Let's go ahead and let's create. You can see here we have our credits here. And for the AppSumo Tier 1, I don't know how I got an image taken. I didn't even generate an image. Or perhaps it just generated an image now. I don't know what I did to activate that. And for videos, we have 20. And you can add a pack to create trainings, which on Tier 1 you would actually have to purchase. But I wonder, can you actually add more credits via purchase? Well, for video generations, you can. And you can see here how much they cost. And for custom models, you can. And of course, the subscriptions is there. Let's go back to creation. So it's gonna create something. I believe this is what it's creating right here. I don't recall asking it to create anything, but it's gonna go ahead and create that, and just want to see how it looks. And then we're gonna go test out some of the other functions. I'm actually gonna hop on Google and grab a product, and we'll see how Seelab works with it. Okay, family. So this is the Seelab generation model, the regular model, and we can see here how the images look. I think the quality is okay. It gets the job done. It's not Nano Banana. I know Nano Banana has kind of spoiled everyone, but it's a fairly coherent image. We can see the gentleman in the image wearing the Seelab shirt, and they're in the city environment, and it works out just well. I'm just wondering why they're putting the gentleman in the middle of the street with the cars there. It looks like New York. Shout out New York. That's where I'm from. But other than that, a fairly coherent image. Now we can create a video. We can remove the background and we can replace the background. We can magnify, and we can also reuse Seelab Gen. So let's go ahead and actually test out these images. We can also choose to reuse the prompt. We can create different variations. And of course, we can download or delete. So let's go ahead and play with some of these functions. And then I went over into Genspark, and instead of going to Google and just downloading something that don't own, I just created this image over in Genspark, some non-branded high top sneakers, and we're also going to play around with that inside of Seelab and see what it can do there. So let's see. Let's create a video. So we have the start frame. Do we need to bring an end frame? So let's just say the camera pans out as the gentleman begins to cross the street. So that works. So choose your creative path, image to video. So if you have a start frame image and an end frame image, you can have that. And also the models you have is VO3, VO3 plus audio, VO3 fast. So we're going to go ahead and go with VO3 fast plus audio. And you can choose the format of 16 by 9, 9 by 16, 720p or 1080p. So we do have 20 credits, and I do want to play around with this a bit. So because that is the case, we're going to go with VO3 fast. We're not going to use the audio. We'll stay with 16 by 9. And so it's saying choose VO3 with audio to enhance your experience of synchronized music, ambient sound. And VO3 is pretty awesome. VO 3.1 is awesome, but just for testing purposes, so we can use our credits on our tier 1, we're going to stick with VO3 fast, and we're not going to use any audio. In seconds, your video will animate complete with realistic motion. So VO is pretty good. Any version. So the more seconds we add, the more credits it uses. So let's go ahead and generate this and just see how it looks. And we'll pause the video and see how it looks once it's done. Okay, family, it looks like it's ready here in generations history. So let's go ahead and see how that looks. So a very interesting image of, well, video rather, of people walking in the street. So it could have been my prompt. Usually for these things, you like to use JSON prompts and things like that, but we just use a simple prompt to see what VO would do with it. And guy kind of looks kind of cut out here, and his face kind of looks a little smushed as he's walking. But VO3 works. We're just testing out VO3 fast. So let's go ahead and continue with the video, or any other functions that it can do, rather. 1 second. Let's just pause this. You'll go back to creations. So there's other things that we can do. We can remove the background. So let's just see how good their background removal is. Pardon me, family, I had to sneeze. So we can see that it's pretty good. You can see it is completely gone. We'll go ahead and restore it. We can replace the background. So we can actually go ahead and create a background. Change the background to inside of an office building. Looks like Paris Beach didn't work right there. Let's try again. Change the background to the inside of an office building. So we're going to go ahead and create that background. And we'll see how it changes the background, where it puts our main character, and how it's going to end up looking. I'll just pause the video and we'll tap back in once it's done. Okay, family, I do admit that did take a little while. And one thing I may have overlooked is that you can change the amount of images up to 4 images, but you can see it's rather generous. Originally, I had 4,996, and those 3 images only cost me about 4 credits. So I feel like the credit system is fair. And I like, it's interesting. Instead of putting how many total videos, they just put how many total credits for everything, which is pretty interesting. You just see the big numbers. You might think you got 5,000 images or 20 videos, but no, you have credits. And it makes sense to do it that way, in my opinion. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of these images. So it's asked to put the gentleman inside of an office building. And this looks like it's inside of an office building. And this also looks like it's inside of an office building, although it's a little bit of, it looks relatively fine, in my opinion. So that's just using their model, testing out their model and what it can do. But they also have this magnify feature where you can kind of like magnify certain portions, I suppose. And you can upscale it up to four times. You can choose the presets from fidelity, balanced, or creative. And of course, they have the reframing where you can choose the width and the height, the different formats. If you want it to be used for Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, X, YouTube, or something custom. And of course, they have the 9x16 and the 16x9. So they have a few things here. However you want to use your image or your video with the reframe. So that's a great feature right there. Well, obviously, we can't do anything with the custom models here without paying because of the tier that we're on. And of course, these favorites are already there, and we see the capabilities with the Seelab gen. But I wonder, so we can't pick Nano Banana. We can only pick Flux or Seelab gen or Imagen 3. So that's just one thing to keep in mind, that depending on your tier is the actual going to determine the access to images that you have using this tool. And probably there'll be different credits depending on which actual image generator you use. But I just wanted to test out Seelab just to see what they're capable of doing. Well, if we go back over into, no, that's going to be Let's Create. So, and it seems here you can also place an object in scene. You could do local editing, character consistency. So you can drag and drop an image, select your generated one, or import from your device. So you can create continuing with Nano Banana, which we don't have. We don't have options to do so. This is a Nano Banana feature and it's new. So we can't really do anything with it because of the tier that we're on. So that's saying something, because this is all Nano Banana. So you can't really test this out, can we? Well, right here it says Nano Banana. So the remix feature allows you to create variations of the reference image by using elements of the style. Okay, and structure reference. So the structure reference preserves the original scene's structure from the reference image. You use your prompt and chosen model. It transforms the image by adding new elements or details that fit seamlessly into the original layout and proportions. So you got gray sofa plus structure, colored and hairy. So let me see 1 second, family. All right, so went back over into GenSpark and just made sure that we downloaded our image, which ironically we created with Nano Banana Pro. But we have our image here. We have our structure reference. Oh, okay, so that changed. And I think I want to continue with Seelab. So the model is not available when selected with structured reference. So when you use structured reference, you can only use Flux HD. So I guess we want to just change the color. Change the color of the sneakers to red, white, and blue, please. I suppose we don't need to put please. And also make them suede. Not suede. How do we spell suede? In fact, give me 1 second. I can't believe I forgot how to spell suede. So you can see I actually went into Google to figure out how to spell suede. And I just went back over here and see that it already has some suede on here, but I put suede with soft leather. So change the color sneakers to red, white, and blue, and also make them suede with soft leather. It's going to use Flux, so we're going to go ahead and create that, and we're going to see what Seelab can do there. It's going to take a little bit, so we'll pause the video and see what it does when it's finished. So curious, so there's a reason why I said plain when I created a Nano Banana, and Nano Banana did an outstanding job. But for some reason, Flux thinks that Nike is the way to go. Let's actually see them up close and what it did. So it looks like Nike mixed with a little bit of Converse right here. We can go over here. It looks like an Air Jordan 1, one of my favorite shoes of all time. Also looks like an Air Jordan 1. So I gotta say, Flux, I'm not impressed with how it handled everything. I do see the suede and bits of leather, but I don't think it handled that pretty good. But of course, you can always edit things here. So this little red dot here, it pretty much represents whatever you mark, it's gonna change. So let's just say we mark this here, and we'll say, using parrot speech, of course, change this area to blue, please. We're gonna go ahead and generate, let it do its thing. So let's see if the AI would actually adhere to that request. So we can see here in that image, it didn't. In that image, it didn't. And in that image, it didn't. So I don't know if it's because I didn't actually scribble enough over it, but maybe I will scribble over everything here. Try it again and see if that makes a difference. And we'll take out the word please. I don't know. I'm always just polite to AI. Change this area to blue. So we colored over it, and we're going to go ahead and hit generate. And we'll try it again and see maybe if it was something that I did. So once again, we're going to go ahead and take a look. And it doesn't seem like it was able to execute. So I don't know if it's something that I did wrong. I mean, I did, that is the replace. So that is pretty weird right there. So it feels like my issue with this is that it's not adhering to certain things with the replace feature. Everything else, it works as intended. Like you can do your magnification if you want, right? Like I believe that's the only feature I didn't show you is the magnification. Like you you upscale it pretty much and it's just gonna magnify. But I gotta say, their image model is capable. The Seelab model is capable. The Flux high definition model is fine, but I would personally prefer having access to Nano Banana, and the fact that Nano Banana and a specific feature is locked behind, I don't know if it's locked behind a higher tier, because it does say you get access to premium models. You just don't get access to the pro models, which I believe Nano Banana is a pro model. The fact that you need tier 3, it definitely means that you have to invest a little bit more. And I'm not sure if this is a platform that I would probably invest that much in, but that's because I have options. And we can see here, we just accessed the upscale four times. We zoomed in, we magnified, so we could just focus on the shoes. And that's probably going to take a little while, but probably after this, I'm going to end the video. I mean, we could play around with the different image generations because they have different. I can't tell. Did it make that? Does it look higher quality, more upscaled? Okay, so after, so okay, so there's before. Okay, so the magnification, the upscaling definitely is noticeable. So the upscaling is pretty good. It works as intended. So that's good. But I just gotta say, not having access to Nano Banana, and I'm not sure if this is one or the pro version, is definitely a bit of a disappointment. The upscale works pretty good. It says you can replace an element, but maybe I'll test that out because I tried to just recolor the shoe and it didn't work. But I should be able to just change the color. The placing the background works. Doing a video works because you have access to VO. So as long as you have your video credits, it's functional. It works. But let me go back into creation and see what we edit. Because maybe I was just using it wrong. Instead of just changing, it does say replace. So I'm gonna be fair on that. So let's just say change these to boots. Change to hiking boots. We're gonna be fair. Because I was just trying to add to modify instead of replace. When it is a feature to replace, it literally says replace. So let's go ahead and generate. It would be nice if you could just use the tool, the replace tool, to change certain things, like certain features on the product. But what's advertised is replace. So we're going to go ahead and actually test that out. See if it does its thing. And then we'll go from there. So it is done. And let's see what it did. I don't know about you, but that does not look like hiking boots. So and we gave it 3 chances. We kept everything on 3. So I'm gonna close this out. Well, now it says we have access to Nano Banana. So now I don't. So I'm confused. Do we have access to Nano Banana now? Because it says it here. And you know what? Let's actually see if it's Nano Banana. I'm actually gonna go back into GenSpark with real Nano Banana Pro. I'm gonna take this prompt. I'm gonna copy the prompt. It says Nano Banana, so it should. Well, oh, okay, so it's Nano Banana for in terms of for the structure and things like that. But if we want to get rid of the structure reference, it does change back to Flux HD. So it was using Nano Banana to do certain things, local editing, but it didn't seem like it was doing the editing very good. It says you could do local editing, remove the thing, character consistency, different poses. But to be fair, I wasn't using people. But you should be able to change the sneaker, change the colors, change it into a different type of shoe. So that's definitely interesting. But I I think I'm gonna wrap up the video here, honestly. So we'll just head back over here to AppSoma. What are my thoughts on Seelab? The editing is okay, I guess. It didn't seem to do what I was asking it to do, whether it was to change the color or change the shoe in the replace feature. But you are able to change the background and do things like that. You are able to get a higher quality upscale image and it's no problem. You are able to go in there and generate images and the images are fine. And if you're just using on tier 1 for the Seelab image generation, you're fine. The images are just fine in my opinion. But the editing definitely needs work. I couldn't make the shoes look the way I wanted. And I was kind of disappointed with that. But then again, I didn't have access to the higher pro models being on tier 1. And for testing purposes, it just didn't make sense for me to go $300 just to have access to Nano Banana. In my opinion, that should be accessible on every tier, but I'm sure they have a specific business reason as to why. The credit system is fair as long as you're paying attention to what you're doing. If you don't need VO3 normal, The VO fast is fine. And I think that's just pretty much it. Do I recommend it? For image for image capabilities, it's good. For upscaling capabilities, it's good. For removing backgrounds, it's good. But if you're trying to do certain things like local editing and change the objects, I don't know how I feel about it. Maybe I need to do more testing. I didn't actually test it out on human beings. I tested it out on an object. Maybe I should test it out on a human being. But then again, you would still need custom models to do all those things. So definitely probably a higher tier to test out a custom model, like maybe tier 1. But other than that, I think I'm going to end the video right here with Seelab. If you're interested in Seelab, definitely check out the description and the pinned comment below. And I'm going to leave it right here. This is Brian, the Introverted Marketer, and it ain't hard to tell. It's simple. I'm going to catch you on the next video, family. Peace.